it's Sean and welcome back to my channel. Please go ahead and subscribe. I'm like a baby here, so I'd really appreciate it. So you may remember probably about a week ago, I asked for a circle questions only Q&A. And as I was doing that Q&A, I realized that the questions kind of broke out into two groups. There was like the whole experience and casting and the game. And then there was like my strategy and catfishing and the reveal and what all of that felt like and all of my feelings on it. And guess what? I have a lot of feelings. So if you want to know more about casting and the whole experience and my relationships with other cast members, go check out that other video. This is all about catfishing and why I did it and my strategy and the reveal and all my feelings. I have a lot of feelings, guys. Spoilers. So, honesty hour, I feel very nervous about doing this video. And I've kind of put it off for a while now. I mean, the show came out in January and it is April. and it's like a good thing in some ways because I did another video about how really terrified I was about the show coming out. So the good news is that I got the most amazing reaction. So I really just want to start off by saying, like, I'm so grateful for all of you, and I'm so grateful for the people who reached out to me from literally all over the world. Just saying how they related to me, and they related to the feeling that they had to hide because of their size. Seeing me have that moment of revealing myself just sparked a little something in them that made them realize that, you know, they wanted to be seen and they wanted to be heard in their lives. To see that I made any type of impact like that, it's honestly hard to process a lot of the time. It doesn't feel very real. So I got a bunch of questions from you guys. I also just have a lot of my own stuff that I feel like I need to say. So I'm gonna say that, and then I am gonna go through your questions, if that's okay. One of the big things that I want to start off with is that just because I had a very personal reason about why I chose to catfish and why I chose to reveal myself, I don't want this to be like ammunition to be judging anyone else for their decisions to catfish, because it's a game, you know, and it's a reality TV show. And what makes it fun to watch is that people are doing things that they would never do in real life. So yeah, TDLR, don't judge my friends. Okay, great, because we are all friends. One thing I will say kind of on that note that I have noticed, I think other people have noticed this as well, is that I feel like the women who catfished received a lot more judgment than the men who catfished. I think sometimes specifically for Karen and I, who was Mercedes in the game, people like to assume maybe that we aren't confident or don't like ourselves, and that's really frustrating and it hurts, and I'll kind of like dive into that a little bit more. But like, yeah, I don't know, just kind of let's check that. So if there was like one big thing that I could like put on a billboard about my choice to catfish, it would be that this decision was not about how I feel about myself. This decision was about how I know from life experience how people tend to react to bodies like mine. So once again, not about how I feel about myself. I think I'm great. I love myself. I'm cute as hell. I'm super fashionable. I'm a total babe. Fire personality, smart, talented, great friend, super funny, love. This decision was about how I know people can react to my body and bodies like mine. We got that? So just to remind everyone, I was a social media manager for a plus size fashion brand. My whole life was online, and I saw the worst of how people talk about fat people online. It wasn't just through my work that I was experiencing this, it was also personal as well. The reality is, it's not very safe or comfortable for everyone to be themselves all the time, especially online. And plenty of times where I've posted a photo of myself, a photo where you can clearly see my body, and just strangers have found my photo and people just want to tell you like, you're gonna die, that you're disgusting, that you're promoting obesity, just for existing, just for being out in the sun and wearing something cute. People really feel entitled to tear you down. That's not just online. I have had strangers yell out their cars about my weight. I have had strangers walk up to me in stores and talk to me about my weight. Then there's the fact that, like, I mean, how many reality TV shows do you see a bunch of fat people or a bunch of people who just like seem really accepting of all types of bodies on reality TV? Not that often, you know? Like, look at the whole Bachelor, Bachelorette cast. Is there anyone who looks like me? Even close? No, there's not. There just isn't. So when it comes to playing for $100,000, why would I assume these strangers on a reality TV show are going to be people who have really unpacked their internalized fat phobia? Because we all have that. I have that. And it's something we all have to work at, but I don't think a lot of people has been exposed to those types of ideas. My point is, fat phobia, bias against fat people, is very, very real. It's a real thing. It's not something made up. It's not something just to make people feel bad for me. It's real, you know? And again, I'm so grateful for the people who have reached out to me, who have said, yeah, I've experienced exactly this and I completely understand why you did what you did. Because it doesn't always feel safe to be me. One thing that I'm really grateful for is how well everyone received me when I revealed myself in that moment. But I think sometimes people use that as kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like a backhanded compliment sometimes, where people will be like, see, like everyone was accepting, so why'd you do it? I'm not asserting that anyone would have a hateful or violent response to me. Just because people were accepting of me on the show doesn't mean you should walk away and say, see, people are always really accepting of people of different body sizes and types. Like, that's not true. It's just not true. And if you don't believe me, maybe you should ask a fat person in your life. And if you don't have one, then maybe you should think about why that is. The other thing that I just want to remind people of, because it's really, I feel like, easy to lose context on these things, is that, like, I did not seek out this show. This is an opportunity that completely fell in my lap. So it's not like I was someone who just woke up one day and was like, oh, I know, how about I apply for this reality TV show where I catfish as a thin person. That wasn't the conception of this. This was an opportunity that was put in my lap, and I had to think very long and hard about what my strategy would be. And I did think really, really, really long and hard about it. I mean, I really toiled over this. I mean, this is something that I talked to my boyfriend about, my friends about, my therapist about, the kind of size inclusive, body positive, fat positive world, whatever you want to call it. That really is my life. I mean, it's my work, it's my profession, it's what I do outside of work, it's the clothes I buy, it's the media that I consume, it's really everything to me. I wanted to make sure that I really made the most of it, and that I thought really hard about how can I make the biggest impact. I have noticed as body positivity has gotten more and more mainstream, people kind of celebrate this watered down version of it, where it's just about taking a cute photo in your underwear and listening to Lizzo, and then that's it. You did it. You nailed self-love. Problem over. We can all go home. But I like to think that it's actually a lot more than that. All of those things are great, and I love Lizzo. And selfies, I think, are a very important tool. But I think body positivity is also about challenging ideas that really put people down, and challenging ourselves to unpack those ideas and unlearn those ideas. And I think it's also about recognizing how the world isn't necessarily safe for everyone. Like, you can't, I feel like there's some quote out there that I'm gonna butcher. You can't love yourself out of being oppressed or being discriminated against. Like, me loving myself isn't going to mean that I suddenly have great role models to look up to, or that I can shop at the same stores as my friends, or that I won't, see something about how my body is terrible and on every magazine when I check out at the grocery store. To be honest, I've kind of felt like at times during this that like I am sometimes like judged for the fact that I am not perceived as more confident, when I feel like I'm a very confident person. I'm pretty happy in my own skin. But it just makes me think, like, what if I was really, what if I really did have terrible self-esteem? Would it be really my fault after growing up with my body constantly policed, not being able to shop at the same stores as my peers, how like humiliating and isolating that felt, constantly, hearing fat jokes, dieting from a really early age? Like, would it be so awful if I actually just felt bad about myself? Would I be the person to blame for that? And I think that's like a place where sometimes even those of us in this community fail, is when we blame an individual for the consequences of a larger system. I know that's kind of out there. There's not a lot of representation of fat people in media at all. And I very much can relate to the fact of when there finally is someone who looks like you on TV and they aren't really nailing what your experience is, or it just doesn't sit right with you, or they do something that kind of disappoints you, it hurts extra hard, because it's like, no, but like I hardly get any of these, so I just want this one to be right and feel like me and feel good, and I want other people to see it and feel like they understand me. Or, like we have role models that might end up, losing weight or pursuing weight loss surgery or doing something else that just might trigger us. And I think sometimes it's very easy to want to address that with that person and feel some sort of like, angst that you're maybe like owed a conversation. And I think this experience really made me realize how I have done that and felt that in the past, and that it really isn't getting at the root of what I'm upset with. Me catfishing is a symptom of a system that keeps fat people down here. I didn't create that system. I actively want to fight that system. I don't believe that being thin is the best way to be, or that people should throw away their lives in the pursuit of being thin. I have done that. I feel like I didn't really have maybe like a childhood or, teenage years in the same way as other people because of that. I think the conversation around the way we treat fat people has an impact on them is just not one we're very comfortable with. We just want like to skip to the end version where she's twerking and she's playing the flute and we love it. We love to see it, but we all can have an impact in getting us there, and we all have some work to do. And I don't think we should skip that part. I think it's important to sit with that discomfort, that in a lot of ways, showing up as yourself fully as a fat person can feel like you're just walking in with a target on your head. And I don't want that to be the world that we live in. But that's the world that I know. There's one last thing that I want to say before jumping into some questions, and that is I want to talk just directly to the people who still might just disagree with me. And I think those people kind of fall into two camps. And one, I have more time and patience for than others. One, you're allowed to not like me. I mean, it's fine. Like, that's okay. Hello, it's amazing to hate people on reality TV. That's cool. I get it. And we're in quarantine. Like, listen, if you got to take it out on me, I mean, I'd rather you go to therapy. But like, whatever. If it's like me or your cat, just yell at your screen. That's fine. I've gotten DMs from some people who are not fat and are very judgmental about what I did. I had one DM in particular where this guy DM'd me and he was like, why did you go be some skinny bitch? You should be ashamed of yourself for saying that you support, you know, plus size women, and then you go be this skinny bitch. And I'm like, okay, first of all, that girl's my friend, so like I don't know why you're calling her a bitch. And two, to be calling a woman a bitch and also be berating me, a woman who is fat, in my DMs. It's like, I don't know what you think you're doing, Mr. Body Positive, but like this ain't it. You know, you're not really nailing it. I think for like the thin people who still don't really get it or don't understand why I would choose to do this, I think like this anecdote maybe kind of sums it up. The morning that I woke up and the circle had come out, I wasn't even in the first couple episodes, but some people had already started to find my account. And the first comments that I woke up to that day, one, there were people commenting on photos of mine with barfing emojis and pig emojis, which it's just like, it feels a lot more scary than you would think to have strangers do something like that to you in a moment when you are suddenly very visible. And then immediately after receiving that just like really vile hate, I had DMs with people asking me, if you're really confident, then why didn't you play as yourself? And just the like dichotomy of those two messages. And it feels like sometimes the people who are passing judgment and just want me to like smile and be Miss Confidence, like aren't there standing up for me when those people are harassing me. That's another hurt too, you know? Then there's the people who maybe are plus size that were frustrated with the way I played the game. And to them, I just want to say, like, I get it. Again, like, I understand. I know what it's like to be really excited to see a plus size person on screen and not really love everything about it. And I'm sorry that I couldn't be the right thing for you. I'm not a perfect person, and I hope that I'm a stepping stone that someone else can come along and do it better. I really, really, really hope that a lot of fat girls apply for this show for the second season. Hopefully they actually end up making it, and that fat girls play as themselves. Like, I hope all of that happens. And I just want to say, like, you and I are on the same team. Even if you disagree with how I did something, I'm always going to be there cheering on the fat girl. I hope you know that, like, I took a lot of thought and care, and I tried to walk a really tight line. I wanted to call attention to the ways that people treat us wrong. And I hope I genuinely, genuinely, genuinely hope that you keep advocating for what you think is best. I say all the time, loud fat girls on the internet changed my life. If there's something that should be better, you should point it out, and we should all keep fighting for that together. That's something I firmly believe in. actually feels really good to get all of that out. Okay, now I'm gonna answer your questions. Oh, okay. It's me, Abby P. Says, were you surprised with how accepting everyone was when you said you catfished? Yeah, I was pretty surprised actually. Like, yes and no. I was playing the game some when I decided to reveal to a smaller group of people. I wanted to make sure I shared with people that I trusted so that, you know, I might have some security in them like backing me up when I revealed to people who I maybe didn't know or trust yet. But it could have gone either way in my head. It was kind of also, you know, I also maybe thought people would, you know, just play the game and be like, you know, well, you're a liar, so what? Just leave, you know. But yeah, that was a really great moment. So a lot of questions kind of in this vein, but this one is from Ben Cando, I think. Ben Cando asked, what made you change your profile to the real you? So this is something that was really important to me, kind of like going back to like, you know, my feelings about representation and how important that is. You know, again, I like myself and I think I'm really fun and really cool. Showing the real me was really about challenging all of those stigmas. I didn't want people to watch this show and walk away with the idea that like, if you're fat, just hide forever. You know, there's kind of this thing in like the fat community where people say like coming out as fat, and coming out as fat means like, you know, having a conversation with someone where you're like, hey, I'm actually okay with who I am and I don't plan on changing who I am. I think that moment's really powerful. It's really powerful to say like, hey, this is me. I felt like I could have a bigger impact if there was that moment. And you just getting to be myself was really important to me. It's been important to me in my life, learning to be myself more, and I wanted other people to get to see that as well. Ordinary Girl 3446. It says, do you wish you would have just gone in being you? Because watching the circle, people thought you were gorgeous and shouldn't have used fake photos. And just a lot of questions kind of about like, do I regret what I did? Or would I do it differently? And I really don't. I feel like I went in and fucking did my thing. You know, like I had a mission, I had a message, and I wanted to call attention to the fact that, you know, online isn't a safe place for everyone to be all the time. People treat fat people differently in not cool ways, and that, you know, hey, I exist and let's all try to be a little bit more accepting. And I accomplished all those things and I feel really good about it. And I feel like because of that, like a lot more nuanced conversations were had. And that's really what I wanted. If I could be on the circle twice, if I were to go again, I would definitely play as myself. But I wouldn't change anything that I did this past time. There were also just a lot of questions about, you know, my choice to reveal myself. Like, did I know that I was gonna do that? And I might have addressed this in the last Q&A. It's definitely something that was like in my back pocket, but it wasn't necessarily a guaranteed thing that I would do. Like I said, if I would have gone in there and I got the sense from everyone that like, oh, we hate fat people and love diets and only like people with six-pack abs, I would be like, well, fuck me then. I might have to stay quiet longer than expected, you know, if it meant, you know, trying to stay in the game a little bit longer, even though I really wanted to be able to reveal myself. So I knew that if I had a moment with someone where I felt like I could trust them, I was going to like take my moment and run with it. And fortunately I did. It's funny, I have the opposite question too. Do I regret revealing myself on this circle? No, I really, really wanted to. And I felt, honestly, like after I revealed myself that day, I felt like more at peace than I had the entire time while I was on the show. Really felt like, you know, if I have to go home after this, it's fine because I did what I had to do. And then I ended up going home. I feel like it's such a cliche of like the person does what they wanted to do and then they're like, if I had to go home now, it's okay. And then they end up going home. But that's how I felt. Okay, I really liked this question. Alexis Plouts. If you hadn't told the truth about your identity, do you think you would have won? Oh, I love that one. No, I don't think if I had played a catfish the whole time, I think I might have even gone out sooner. I think gameplay wise, I think it ended up completely working in my favor that I mean, the fact that I had revealed who I was to Rebecca slash Seaburn right before that elimination, like that's what kept me in. Just strategy wise, like it's very hard if you come in the game late. And I think for those who did come in late, it's really important to establish some type of intimacy with people. And that's difficult to do in such a short period of time. So I think the fact that I put some trust in people, that's ultimately what kept me there. Catherine Perez 756 asked, how did it feel to show others the real photo of who you are? I was surprised by how scared I felt. And it really took me back to those moments where I had those like kind of coming out as fat moments with friends or family, because it's very vulnerable to tell people like, hey, I'm not really what you expected me to be or necessarily what you want me to be. I was surprised by how nervous I actually felt. One thing that I didn't really read through here was there were a lot of very sweet messages about how what I did inspired them, and that you want to be friends, and I'm friends with all of you, and I love you all very much. Thank you. I feel so good getting all of that out there. I think I really needed this. I think if there's one thing that I just want to nail home, it's that like whatever pain it is that you might feel, it's valid. What you're feeling is valid. And it can be very scary and vulnerable to put yourself out there, but you are worth a life fully lived. And it can be a scary process getting there. But I want everyone to have that. I want everyone to know that they're worth that, you know. I've done so much talking now, and I'm already in pajamas, so I think it's time for me to snuggle my dog and go to bed. I love you guys. Thank you. Good night.